What's up, everybody? Hold on, we gotta cue the music. Hey, everybody, this is Presto.
Corporal Nosage.
And you are listening to a very, very special breaking news report episode of the Nintendads. If you're watching this, you already know why we're here. Special, crazy, unreasonably abrupt announcement. After a holiday weekend, Nintendo casually drops the bomb. The mother of all rumors for the past year. Hey, Edward, welcome in.
Welcome.
Nintendo drops news of the infamous Switch Pro, which is officially called, as you can see above us, Corporal can't see, but you guys can see, the Nintendo Switch OLED model. That is the official name. It's not the Switch Pro, it's not the Switch XL, it's not the Switch DX. It is the Nintendo Switch, and then in parentheses, OLED model. So the rumors were true for about the past year. A little backstory on how we made it here. Bloomberg, especially, which I don't know why they're in the gaming news industry now. Bloomberg has been reporting that there's been OLED requests and evidence for Samsung making an OLED screen, 7-inch OLED screen, for months. And that was the rumor. And some of the rumor has come true.
It is.
So, here we are. We'll get there. Here's how we're going to break down this episode. So, first of all, if you haven't heard, the new Nintendo Switch... Oh, it's not called the new Nintendo Switch. That was a rumored name, too. The OLED model of the Nintendo Switch is going to be releasing on October 8th. And if that date seems familiar, it's because that's the same date as Metroid Dread comes out. There hasn't been any news of a package or a bundle, but there might be. And it's going to MSRP at 350 golden Mario coins. Which everybody thought, including a mutual friend of ours, thought it was going to be, it has to be $500. It has to be $600. It's only $350.
Hold on. In Yeti's defense, I
didn't say any names. I didn't say anything.
I will call him right out. I got no qualms. In Yeti's defense, it was also very well understood that if this Switch was released, there was going to be some hardware upgrades.
Yes, and we'll get to all that. So the episode is, first we're doing the intro. We're gonna talk about one more thing before we get into it. Yes, Kevin, I love you guys' content. Thank you. You've officially made it on an episode, because this is a special live episode. But after this episode is over, we're ripping the audio. I might do a little editing, and this will become episode 38 of the Nintendads Podcast. So the one other thing to address, and then we're gonna get into the actual meat and potatoes and the features and the specs and all that. Yo, I'm getting it. I don't care, says Marvin Charles Flo. If you're listening to this episode in the future and not live, make sure you go check out our good friend at RNO on Facebook Gaming. He's the best. So we're going to finish the intro. We're going to go into all the new features, all the upgrades, all the lateral movements. And then we are going to give you our hot takes at the end. So,
they're hot.
If you want the spice, you got to stick around. This isn't going to be a very long episode, but it's going to be an episode. It's going to be a ride. So before we get into the actual specs, there's one thing that I think we need to talk about, and why the hell this is 3 weeks after E3. Why was this not announced at E3? I have my... What do you think, Corporal? Everybody has different opinions.
I mean, we have personally bashed the E3 event since the hour it was aired. Like, there were things that were released in the Treehouse the month prior, that should have been in the E3.
Splatoon
and there
3.
are things that were in the E3 that should have been in that treehouse. I can tell you, now a month later, this probably should have been in the E3 event. But now that I know what actually is entailed with this new device, I understand why they didn't release it.
Why don't you think they released it at E3?
In my personal opinion, if there was going to be a new Switch, there should have been some substantial beefing up.
Now, this isn't a new Switch. It's a new Switch model in the same vein as the Lite, as the Switch Lite.
We have reverted back to, and I was waiting for this moment. We are reverting back to the Nintendo 3DS days, where we're just going to throw out a new color and an XL and a mini and a Pearl edition and a limited edition.
When in technology has that ever worked? I just don't know. I can't think of any companies that are absolutely swimming in money that's proven to be stupid as that. Oh, sorry, my phone in the shot. I didn't mean to do that. I'm just mindlessly.
I am saying that I believe that console industry stays above that. Microsoft and PlayStation, you release a base model, and then you release the slim model. That's it. They've already done their slim model. They've done their light. Do something better.
The chat is agreeing with you. The chat agrees with you that it's a jab. There's too many additions. I will get... So, first, before we get into the real... Because I think this is another interesting time where we genuinely disagree with each other. But I will get into why I think that in a minute. But as far as specifically why they didn't announce it at E3, because if they announced this at E3, the headline would be E3 news, Halo Infinite, Metroid Dread, this, that, and the other thing, and new Switch system. By delaying this, they are getting... It's a Tuesday. When I first saw this, I'm like, why? Why would they do this on a Tuesday after a holiday weekend? Everybody's getting back to work. It's dead. It's dead. And then I said, it's dead. There's no news. There's nobody announcing anything on the Tuesday after a holiday weekend. They have the entire white-hot spotlight on them, as opposed to sharing it with every other technology and video game company during the scramble of E3.
So I understand that, and that, from a tactical standpoint, is probably making sure that every newsreel on every website and every gaming magazine's stand the next day is Nintendo.
Yes, there's no competition, there's no voices that they have to shout over in this.
They don't have to get over the white noise of so many other things.
Monster Hunter Stories controversy. Kevin, you're going to have to follow that up. Let us know in the comment. Let us know in the chat what... There's Monster Hunter Story controversy, supposedly. So I want to hear more about that. Anyway, so before we get more into the philosophical debate of why they are should or should not, good or bad, whatever, or flop, let's get down into the meat and potatoes of what this thing actually is. So,
the pre-order is sold out.
I'm going to link, because this is something that is not really, I have not seen it going around very much. But this is the technical specifications of all of the Switch versions that I'm going to drop in the chat, and it will be in a link in the description of this episode after the live airing. But this is the tech sheet that one article today linked to, which I think is a disservice. I think this should be linked to from everything, because there's a marketing page and there's a tech specs page. So, the main selling point of the Switch OLED version is the OLED screen, the OLED model. I'm never going to get the name right because it's a stupid name. Let's just get that out of the way. It's a bad name.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to wait until we got to this section in the notes, but I'm telling you now, OLED version is the dumbest name for the Switch ever. It should have been Switch XL. Like, if you want to do anything different, like, why did you do OLED? Like, you're going to put your hardware label in front of your name? Like, that's like Microsoft having Intel in the front. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's a not great name. Oh, Kevin, I did hear about the controversy over Monster Hunter Stories, and we will definitely cover that on a future episode. But I kind of agree. With the controversy. But anyway, we will talk more about that. So watching the video. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, go check it out. It's very cornball Nintendo lifestyle trailer like we've seen with the original Switch. But they really want to drive home the point that this is the OLED model, and that is what the main feature is. So the new main feature of the screen is that it's OLED. So LED versus OLED. If you're not familiar, LED is what's in most modern screens. OLED is a brighter, crisper technology. It has better viewing angles. It's sharper. Basically, if you look at an LED TV and an OLED TV, the OLED TV, it just looks better. It's just a better quality image, but it's always more expensive. And this new OLED screen is a 7-inch. So the original Switch right here, this is a 6.2-inch screen. Oh, look, you can see the reflection of the podcast. This is a 6.2-inch screen, and the new screen will be 7 inches. So it'll be bigger.
By 8 inches, or 0.8 inches.
The form factor of the new one is almost identical to the original Switch, because most of the real estate that the new screen is going to be taking up is coming closer to the edge and getting rid of most of these bevels. So the form factor is not going to be substantially bigger, but the screen is going to be bigger, it's going to be brighter, better viewing angles, all that good stuff. We knew that this was coming because of all the Samsung leaks and things that Bloomberg has been covering and milking for views for the last 6 months. So that is the selling point. Make no mistake. There's been rumors of a Switch Pro with overpowered, GPUs and revamped this and that. No. This is the screen. The screen is the feature. That's why it's called the OLED model and not the Switch Pro, not the new Switch, not the Switch 2.0, the OLED model.
So this is kind of like Nintendo dropping, $6 billion to have Microsoft, or to have Monster Hunter's exclusive content on their console. Microsoft or Nintendo is like, make this exclusive screen for us and we'll make you a part of our name. Like this, I'm sorry, I'm not impressed.
Okay,
Presto, I'm
well,
not impressed.
I hate to tell you, but it's all downhill from here, because that's the big feature. That's the big feature. Unless you have a real weird thing for kickstands, I don't know. You're gonna be bored.
I'll be honest with you. I was hoping for faster processing, so we have got quicker load screens, and maybe the ability of 4K or crisper video, so that this way it could level with
higher frame rates, better resolution in handheld, 1080p in handheld. Not gonna happen. The OLED, if you look at the tech specs sheet that I linked, the where is it?
Like the 3DS XL, yes.
Yes, it is like that.
Yeah.
The charging time, the battery life, the what is it? The screen, the physical dimensions of the screen are different. The output, everything, video output up to 1080p with HDMI, 720p in handheld. It's the exact same as the base Switch. And that's why I linked that specific sheet, because that has the new Switch, the OLED Switch, and then the regular Switch right underneath it.
To Edward's point, yeah, Edward in the chat says it's just like the old Switch, just with a better screen.
Yes, but not exactly. There's more. We're making our way through.
Right, better audio.
Better. It's got enhanced audio, which exactly nobody cares about. So we'll just get that one out of the way.
Don't get me wrong. Breath of the Wild had some sick tunes. If you like that lo-fi, Breath of the Wild had some beautiful music.
So plug in a pair of headphones.
In the headphones, it sounds great. Yes, or hooked up to a TV.
Yeah.
Fine.
So enhanced audio, it's a nice to have, but it's not like it is. It is what it is. It's just a bullet point among very few bullet points.
And to Thomas's point in chat, if I play my console 100% docked, do I really need this?
No. You don't.
100% no. Unless you are Presto and you want to play Super Smash and you need to have that Ethernet hookup.
Listen, I will fly to Florida and punch you in the throat. George! George, thank you for the stars. George, jeez. With the 50 stars, this is for Corporal to take another drink.
Oh.
Here, you start drinking. I'm going to count to 50, and when I'm done, then you can stop.
Oh, yeah, I'll be dead.
Okay, while Corporal destroys his liver faster than Nintendo destroys the hype, we're going to move on to the wider adjustable kickstand. You can sort of see it in the picture here that we have up top. But instead of this rinky-dink nonsense right here, this is the old kickstand. It's just a little thing. If you look at it wrong, it will fall over.
Is yours bigger than mine? I feel like yours is bigger than mine.
You know this is live, right?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah, so this, if you've used your Switch thing... Oh, look at that. I got a real zoom in. I don't know why my Facebook Messenger is going off. We're recording an episode, people. So the new kickstand goes across the entire back of the device, sort of like a Microsoft Surface. So it basically is half of the thing. The Nintendo hype joke hit really well. Yeah, so it goes across here. It's got adjustable heights, so you can have multiple viewing angles, which is nice. Again, that's a nice thing to have. I think there's a lot of carrying cases that have that sort of thing.
You set the Switch up, and because your support is over here, it's easy for it to fall like this.
Yeah, it does.
So there should have been two, and that would have solved that problem.
Yeah, but now there's just one big one. It looks solid. Like, it looks really good. If you play... Let's be clear. Despite us bashing the shit out of this thing, if your primary way of playing the Switch is handheld, but you want the ability to dock it, this is your Switch. Yeah. I always criticize the Switch Lite because the Joy-Cons are so poorly made. When you get a Switch Lite, I just feel like it's a death sentence. That's not an if, but a when those Joy-Cons are going to break, and then they're attached. It's one solid piece. With this, you have the best experience, the best screen for handheld play, and you still have the ability to dock it. So if your primary way of playing the Switch is handheld, this is your thing. This is the one that you want. So yeah, adjustable kickstand, Ethernet.
Brian in chat, waiting for the Pro. The Nintendo
waiting for the Pro.
That's what I thought we were going to be getting.
I think we all might be waiting in that same boat with you, Brian. This boat's getting pretty crowded. It's getting pretty crowded. Built-in Ethernet in the dock. So that is, to me, a huge selling point. Because you Wi-Fi warriors out there with your 9 to 10 minutes of McDonald's input lag need to get Ethernet adapters. And now there's no excuse.
If you had this beauty, you had to buy an adapter in order to have...
I'd show you mine, but I'm pretty sure if I try to move it, it's going to unplug half my setup.
So the fact that you had to buy another peripheral device in order to make this thing wired, it's kind of lame.
It was silly because every other console has had built-in Ethernet cables since last generation. Not even the current gen. Last gen, it was like it's an easy. That's like the standard, and Nintendo
Especially
was just like,
if, like Presto said, you're a wired warrior, Wi-Fi warrior, who plays Nintendo Super Smash up against us online. You're doing it for no other reason than to see Preston pull his hair out.
And I do. You see how short my hair is? This is what happens. Kazuya's been out for 2 weeks. Look how much I've ripped out already. But yes, I'm hoping that this will make the Splatoon 3 experience much better when it comes out. The other last couple points, we talked about the enhanced audio. 64 gigs of internal storage standard.
So that's nice.
That's nice. That is an actual value add. Because what the Switch was what? The Switch was $300 at launch or $350?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I'm actually booting mine up right now to look at it.
I don't think it's going to tell you the price.
Oh, you mean the price? I thought you meant...
The original... The original price of the original Switch when it first came out.
Data management system had 25.
So it's 32. The original came with 32, but after all the, OS and stuff, it's closer to 30 or 25. But the original Switch was... Okay, thank you, Thomas. 300.
300.
It was 300. So... For $50 more, if you really compare the original Switch and this Switch, it is a huge value add because you're getting a bigger screen, you're getting a better hardware in the form of kickstands, you're getting double the amount of storage because to buy a memory card, it's gonna.
Did you just call the kickstand a hardware upgrade?
Technically, yes. So $50 for the screen, yes. If you went out and you bought an SD card, that's a very good point, Thomas. If you went out and you bought an Ethernet adapter, that's $20 to $30. If you went out and you bought an additional kickstand, like a cover with a kickstand, that's at least another $10, $15. If you wanted to expand the memory, the cheapest thing that you can get probably for a 32 gig card has got to be like $20 or $30. So, from a value perspective, this is a good deal. If you don't have a Switch already, this is the Switch you should buy. 100%.
Yes.
100%. Hey, Jen, breaking news. Yes, we're breaking down all the nooks and crannies, as few of them as there are, of the new Nintendo Switch. And Corporal is drinking away his sorrows. The other most important...
This isn't wine. This is rum.
Oh my god, it is?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't realize that. $50 for an OLED, wider piece of plastic on the back that may or may snap off. Don't forget audio enhancements. You also get it in a handsome new white color, which I am... If there's going to be any reason for me to get this, it's going to be the white color because my PC is white. I have a lot of light elements on my desk, and a white Switch will look pretty good. Aesthetic.
I mean, I know a guy named Fox who does some pretty sick skins and refurbs for casements.
Oh, so. Yeah, right. So that's the list of kind of what's new. To be clear, there were rumors of 4K output. There were rumors of new NVIDIA GPUs. On the inside, the guts, the moving parts, the engine of this thing, it is identical to the existing Switch. It's going to look the same. If you play docked, you will not be able to tell a difference unless you like the little white dock on your desk. So... Having looked at all this and looking at the marketing for it, George.
I think you're trying to kill me.
I'm gonna dub you Saint George. You need to be in every stream. Thank you. Thank you for the stars, but more importantly, thank you for making Corporal drink. So buy all the features and buy the trailer. This product is unequivocally meant for people who play handheld. There's literally nothing in it for people who play docked.
Yes, there is. The Ethernet.
Oh, the Ethernet thread. Okay, yeah, that's true.
That's the only thing that's so. For your car guys who are out there, Toyota and Lexus are essentially the exact same engine. They're pretty much the same manufacturers, the same build. What separates them is the aesthetics and the style of the Lexuses. Otherwise, for the most part, like, there are some components that are tweaked for like eco or for speed or for sport or whatever, but those are aftermarket additions. For the most part, the motor is the exact same. I feel like that's what Nintendo has done here. They have made two things and just gave us one with a prettier box.
I disagree, because I think it has genuine value add for people who play handheld.
If you are really into screens and that Ethernet plug and that plastic thing in the back to make it stand, sure. Now, somebody made a good point. $50 for slight audio, bigger screen, Ethernet, and a dock. Like, I know people who've dropped $50 at McDonald's for the afternoon.
Do you know the price difference between phones that have a 6-inch screen and a 7-inch screen? It's more than $50. It's a lot more than $50.
So we talk about whether or not, like in real estate, whether or not the market will bear it. We talk about whether or not the price value is worth what the market is willing to spend. And obviously markets are a vague term for whoever has money in their pocket. But at the point here is that for $50, they made that threshold, the gate to get in, to get that device, so minimal, because $50 is less than the price of a literal video game these days.
Yeah.
Like, that was one thing I'll give them. They made the price point right for people to purchase.
Yeah,
Even if I would have trade this in and I would get, I don't know, if maybe trading in is the wrong term, because if I trade in, I'll get $50. If I were to sell it on Facebook Marketplace and I get like $275 for it, it may be worth then me getting the new Switch.
If anybody wants to buy my old Switch for $275, DM me. I'm glad you're leaning into the direction of the point that I want to make. But before I go off on my rant, what is your overall opinion on this, and are you getting one? As if I know it's so ambiguous so far. We're not really sure.
Getting one would probably be like if this hits the brick, or if there's some killer bundle deal, like a game bundle deal. If
there's no game on the earth that you would never buy the bundle just for the game and the new Switch, when you could just buy the game.
If they released like Splatoon 3 in a Splatoon skinned Switch.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
That's probably where I would. And because I want to have another Switch for the downstairs in the living room. I want one for my office and for the bedroom and for me to take out of town. But I wanted one downstairs.
No, you just get another dock and just go.
Yeah. Do you know how much another dock is at this point?
You get the little ones. They're like $40.
Yeah, that's what I did off of Amazon. But like, if I'm gonna get a quality new system, then I would get I would get a new dock.
Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 bundle?
I would do that. I would do that.
Funny how it launches. Ooh, that's a really good point, Thomas. It launches the same day as Metroid Dread. And if you've seen the enemies from Metroid Dread, they match the aesthetic of the new Switch exactly. They're all white. So is the next thing coming a Metroid Dread bundle? That
If
would
that's
make
the
sense
case,
to me.
I wonder if that's why they didn't. One of the many reasons why they didn't announce it at E3, because of the similarities there. They weren't going to make it very in your face. They are trying to drag their news cycle out through the year rather than bust their load all at once at E3. They're going to give us snippets through the remainder of the year.
See, well, spoiler alert, I'm probably not going to get this, but
Yeah.
a Splatoon edition, now you have my attention. So your overall opinion is good but not for you? Extreme disappointment and everybody hates it? Everybody, literally everybody, as I've heard?
I'm not at its face value. What I was given today, with what little information I was given and how it was presented to me, I'll be honest with you, I even watched that trailer and I was like, why does this trailer look so weird? This trailer looks like retro or something.
It's
like,
very similar to the original Switch commercials, where it was like the fun group of people, and they're like on top of a house, they're like on a rooftop party, and then they're like playing, and it's like, that's never happened. Nobody has ever done that.
Yeah, but they did that trailer, and I guarantee you there's some teenager out there who did it.
Teenagers are not allowed on rooftops in any major city.
Do you remember our childhood?
That was different. That was so different. Anyway, so you were
I don't think I would get it. I want the new stuff, but I'm not impressed enough to spend that kind of money.
Okay, that's fair. So, me and Nick Yeti were having a discussion on this, as we do.
Yes.
Everybody's disappointed, so underwhelming, gloom and doom, right? everybody's disappointed. To be fair, it is getting pretty thrashed on social media by pretty much, that's the general opinion. Nobody's like, hot darn, I'm super excited. Even though
there's some people in chat I'm looking at.
There's some people that are, but in the overwhelming consensus is that no 4K. That's disappointing. Which, from a personal standpoint, I can't remember the last time I played my Switch in handheld. When I commuted, I used to commute before I worked all at home. But when I used to commute
to and from New York. And I traveled to and from Louisiana. Really? You didn't have your Switch?
You didn't have your Switch.
I didn't have my Switch. I know I didn't have my Switch.
Hold on, I gotta do this close enough to the mic so that everybody can hear it. That's a facepalm. There's a facepalm right there.
I was reading a book. That's why I didn't have my Switch.
Oh! Welcome to the Book Dads.
But why didn't you have your Switch in all of your travels?
No, I'm saying when I traveled, when I commuted, I always had my Switch. That was my utilization for it when it was handheld.
George.
St. George, high five, very nice. You're the MVP of this stream. Yeah, when I used to commute a couple times a week, I would always have my Switch. I would play Diablo 3. It was great. That's when I use my Switch. I never use it outside of docked mode now. It's always docked. I need it on the big, gorgeous TVs. So
when you and I first started this podcast, that was actually something that you had said, was that you use your Switch more as a handheld than you do docked. And I always said I use my Switch docked 90% of the time.
Yeah.
It's funny to see.
Hola, Geeky. Because I used to travel like a madman. I used to travel every other month, planes, hotels, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
you were in another state.
And I'll probably get back to that. Geeky is disappointed.
You're disappointed. You're on my camp.
I mean, I'm not saying I wanted 4K, even though I don't have a 4K TV, so I don't really care. I wanted higher frame rates because there are a bunch of games that are frame locked at 30 frames per second, like Monster Hunter Rise, that would be so much better at 60 frames. Rocket League, locked at 30 frames. So many things have a lower frame rate that I would have loved more horsepower to get higher frames. So, but that's not why I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it because I play docked, and there's virtually no difference if you play this docked. However, a lot of people are saying this is disappointing. Nobody wants this. It's such a cop-out. It's so lame, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing you have to remember. The Nintendo came out with the Switch, and then they came out with the Switch Lite. And everybody kind of similarly scratched their head at the Switch Lite and said, this is dumb. You can't even play it docked. Why would they make this in cutesy colors? Like, what? I don't understand the point of this. I guess some people want it. And then the Switch Lite sold, I don't even know how many, but the Switch Lite was a massive commercial success. So, Nintendo is sitting there going, I'm sure they have case studies, I'm sure they have metrics, I'm sure they have information that we don't have. About how many people play their Switch handheld. That's like kind of the big thing about the Switch is handheld. So then they launch the Switch Lite and they do a huge, massive success, right? And then they're going, all right, guys, we did the base Switch, we did the Switch Lite, now it's time for the Switch Pro or the Switch XL or whatever, whatever the new this eventually was going to be.
It wasn't a Pro, but okay.
And they looked and they said, okay, so what's the number one feature that people like about the Switch? What's the number one reason why people play the Switch? Is it the ability to play it handheld, or is it the performance and the graphics and the frame rate?
Well, no, hold on. No one.
I know what you're going to say.
No one in the entire gaming industry is buying a Switch for graphics.
So why would they get into that race? That's my point. Is that everybody says, oh, they didn't do 4K, they didn't do higher resolution, they didn't do higher frame rate, because nobody is playing a Switch for those things. That's like, oh, Michael Phelps, right? Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps has now decided to try his hand at cycling because he's a great swimmer. He's known for swimming. People love him as a swimmer. But cycling would just make him so much more well-rounded as an athlete. No, they're leaning into their strengths. People buy the Switch for the most part because it is a handheld system. That is also a home console, but it's a handheld system. More people play it handheld, and more people care about playing it handheld than people care about the performance specs of it docked. So
with that point in mind, look at the entire Nintendo Spectrum library. The entire library of Nintendo isn't built around redonkulously realistic high-end graphics. It's built around cartoony, fun, artistic graphics that don't require that 4K feel.
Yeah. So my point was, and everybody's saying, oh, it's a disappointment, it's a flop. The people who are saying that are the very, very vocal minority of people on social media. We'll just refer to them right now as the hardcore gamer groups, which maybe we'll have an episode coming soon where we'll talk a little more about that.
Filthy casuals out there.
The hardcore gamers who are the vocal minority are screaming and shouting and just clutching their pearls at, oh, it's not 4K, it's not super thing. But guess what? Those aren't the people who would probably even buy it if it was 4K anyway. The people who are going to buy it are the people who use it, the majority. The base average consumer cares more about the performance and how it looks in handheld than they do docked. And Nintendo leaned into that as hard as they could. I am disappointed that it doesn't have any hardware. Battery is the same. They didn't talk about the battery because the battery is the same.
I would have given this thing more credence if they had announced like 25% longer battery life.
Well, so it's on the tech spec sheet, it's literally the exact same lithium-ion battery, 3110 milliamps. I think that's what that means, milliamps.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty much the same. However, OLED screens take up less energy than LED screens. So there might be a battery difference there. It's a larger device. It's a larger screen, so maybe that compensates. But on the official tech specs, it has the battery life of 4.5 to 9 hours, which is absolutely not true. It has for the base Switch console and the new console 4.5 to 9 hours for battery life.
4.5 to 9 hours.
The battery will last, they have a little note at the bottom, the battery will last approximately 5.5 hours for Breath of the Wild. That's hilariously not true. That's just not. I've played Breath of the Wild until my Switch has died. And
if you have no volume on, then you probably can get that far.
If you have no volume on and you have the brightness turned all the way down and you're just on the start screen and you're not actually playing it, maybe you could get to 5 hours. Maybe.
No. You could turn off the Wi-Fi, put yourself in airplane mode. Turn down your volume. Right. Turn down your volume and turn down your brightness. Then
as soon as I disconnect from the internet, I feel like I can't breathe, so I never do it. I have to be connected all the time. Corporal, is your liver still functioning? 50 stars, another shot in honor of the Nintendads and all the games you enjoy playing. This message in potential alcohol poisoning brought to you by George. We call him Saint George. He's on his way to King George. George, I appreciate you. Probably more than Corporal at this point. Thank you. Anyway, so my whole point that arose from going back and forth about, is this a flop? Is this a cop-out? Is this a lame thing? To some, if you're a hardcore gamer, then it probably is. But if you're Nintendo, it makes perfect sense. If I'm sitting at the board of trustees or whatever at Nintendo, if I'm Nintendo's business manager, marketing manager, whatever, I'm going, yes, we're leaning into our strengths. We're leaning into the trend and the features and the majority's wants for what makes our consoles sell and what makes them popular. So from that perspective, it is a smart move. It makes sense to me. I think they probably could have included a better battery. They could have upgraded the GPU, but they didn't, and they only managed to increase the price by $50. I really think that's where they upgraded it just enough to where it actually made a functional difference to those people playing. Because if you're a casual player and you only play handheld, you're not going to notice a new GPU. You might not even notice 30 frames to 60 frames.
Oh, Jesus.
But a big, bright, gorgeous George... A big, bright, gorgeous George you're going to notice. Thank you for 100 stars for being called King George. King George, you are going to hereby be referred to as King George anytime you're in the chat now. You have achieved that. If I could change your name in chat, I would. And Facebook would probably ban me. But thank you, King George of the 100 stars. You're going to get Corporal in trouble when this is over. He's going to be like staggering away. The episode's great. I'm not getting it. I'm not pre-ordering it. So yeah, I am, all in all, smart business decisions by Nintendo, despite what vocal minority says. I personally, for my personal usage of the Switch, I'm not going to get one. But if I had the opportunity to swap my Switch out for the new one for a nominal cost, I absolutely would. If Nintendo announced tomorrow, well, it'd be a trade-in program, where you can trade in your old Switch and get one of the new ones for $75 or $100, maybe even.
Yeah.
I would probably do that. I'd probably do it. The real question is, are you getting the new Switch? I should have done the Facebook poll thing. This was the last minute. We had to hustle. Anyway, I mean that's pretty much the episode, y'all. This was a special live report.
Hold on.
Oh, Corporal's got a.
But you got your little say.
Yeah, well, okay, I thought you would put all your cards out on the table.
The rum.
Corporal's like, I had 1 point, but now I have 2 for some reason.
So you say no to getting it. I say no to getting it. There's plenty of people who are in chat who are like, but there is some people who in chat who are like,
no, don't end this, George. So right after this ends, we're gonna cut the live stream, and then I'm gonna go live again because it's Tuesday night. I usually stream on Tuesday night, so I am going to stream some games after this.
You can send some stars to make Presto drink. I'm fine with that.
I mean, I will. I wasn't planning on it, but I will. So what? So what's your closing argument, as it were? I'm not getting it. You're not getting it. A lot of people in chat are not having it.
A lot of people on the internet in Twitterverse are not thrilled with this announcement.
But little Timmy Bucktooth, who's not on Twitter to share every thought he has, is gonna get it for Christmas. You bet your ass he is. And his sister's gonna get one too because he's tired of sharing. Go ahead.
He's tired of sharing. So I'm very curious what the end result will be, what the actual sales will pan out for.
Yes, that is. You can argue and you can sling your opinion because opinions are like. I forget how that goes. But yeah, everybody's got an opinion. Nobody wants to hear it. And Corporal, sorry.
Oh, jeez.
King George is trying to fund your new Switch by making you drink. Okay, but before you do this, is for Corporal. Corporal, I will pay for your Switch. You're getting it. Another drink, please. I don't understand. Thank you, King George. Excuse me? My Google just, said she doesn't understand, but I understand. George is awesome. Thank you, George. We're both reaping the benefits from the stars, but Corporal's the one that's paying for it. This is for all the times that you refused to drink or drank like a seltzer on our Friday night streams. This is karma. But yes, like I was saying, despite what the vocal minority says about, oh, Nintendo messed up, oh, they're cheaping out, those total flops, so disappointing, the only opinion that matters is the market. And in 6 months, we're gonna come back here and we're gonna say, well, Presto was wrong because the Switch OLED model tanked. They lost tons of money on it. It's a laughing stock of the console world, and Nintendo looks like absolute asses. Their stock went down. Nobody bought this stupid thing that nobody wants it. Or I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna go, remember 6 months ago where everyone said that them releasing this was a bad idea and that it was a cop-out? And Nintendo is definitely going to wipe the tears away from reading your mean comments about them with bajillion-dollar bills. That's what's going to happen in 6 months. That's my prediction. Ultimately, the market is going to decide whether this was a smart move or not. And Nintendo's kind of been batting 1,000 in the last, 4 years.
Yeah. I as much as I don't want to admit it, I think you're right.
I hated the Switch Lite, and then it sold like hotcakes, so I got nothing to...
Yeah. I mean, we spent a good portion of our quarantine bashing the Lite. We talked about... when we made that one picture, you, me, and Yeti, the different stages of playing Animal Crossing. It was around the same time that the Lite came out.
Yeah.
And we had that whole conversation about whether or not the light was going to be worth it, and it's
it's not a product that I would ever personally get, but that's because I recognize, and I think this is a key point, I recognize as a gamer, and maybe it's because I work in business and marketing, maybe it's because I'm an aspiring critic of everything, but I recognize that my personal tastes are not the majority a lot of the time. I play docked, I play stuff on PC, I don't play battle royales, aside from when Geeky holds us and carries us through games, but I recognize that my personal habits and opinions are not judge and jury, and I say my personal opinions, and that is my personal view. But I recognize that the market and the general public and what things are deemed either success or failed by are very different than my personal opinions. And in this case, my personal opinion on the light is I don't like the light. The light killed it in the market. This, I appreciate what they're doing. I think it's a smart move. Personally, not for me. Geeky, woo, Apex! Personally, not for me, but I can recognize that it's a smart move and that I think this is going to... Here's a question. Here is a question. Is the new Switch OLED model going to outsell PlayStation 5 this holiday season?
not possible.
Oh,
No.
I bet you. Let's make a wager.
If you're putting it into a bubble, and you're just basing it off of the sales accrued during an individual month or an individual quarter, then probably.
I'm saying holiday. I'm saying November, start of November, after Thanksgiving. Let's say Thanksgiving, including Black Friday through Christmas. I think the Switch is thrashing PlayStation. Xbox isn't even... They're not even...
You know,
I'm not even putting them on the score.
I'd give you the finger, but...
I think... And that might be... It's not totally... Well, you know what? No, it is fair, because the PlayStation 5 has been out, so it's not like it's launching. Look, you didn't even have to give them stars that time. The PlayStation 5 isn't launching, right? It's been out for a while. But at the same time, the Switch isn't a new console. It's not a new generation of console. It's basically just an upgraded variant, a low-key variant of the existing Switch. So I think it's a pretty fair comparison. I think the PlayStation 5 still continues to have supply issues, which I'm wondering how big of an issue it's going to be for the new Switch, because computer components are still very rare. Yes, because they can't produce any, and they're already having a fight. Yeah, exactly. King George, Corporal, I'm sorry, I don't control.
King George makes a very valid, marketable point, but then hides it underneath the guise of 50 stars.
George, you are my new... We have a lot... I need to meet George, because I feel like we have a lot in common in being a bad influence.
It's gonna run out before the
being
end of the
a
stream.
bad influence on Corporal. Corporal is going to need that handheld Switch when he is sleeping on the couch. Anyway, before we continue to banter on and drag this episode out into infinity, Corporal, do you have any other closing remarks? Side quests, even.
If side question
is Sea of Thieves coming out for the Switch at any point?
No. No. Side quest. If they then... Corporal looks drowsy. Oh boy.
That's one word for it, yeah.
If they release another Switch, which obviously won't be this year, probably won't be next year.
They said in 2020 that the Switch was midway through its life cycle. which was 4 years after it released. So this is an 8-year system. So it's got 3 more years before we can expect to hear anything about an actual new gen.
I'm going to ignore what I see at the bottom of my screen right now so I can get my thought out. If they're going to release another variant before the end of the Switch life cycle, I foresee it.
That's the 4K one.
My side quest. If they release a actual spec upgrade,
the actual Switch Pro.
The actual Switch Pro, is that, given everything that we've experienced so far, worth it? George in chat. Don't ignore me.
Closing remarks, needs to visit ABC Liquor. Thank you once again, King George. To me, it would be worth it, depending on 2 things. Depending on,
I'll give you a salute that my grandfather told me.
Oh no, we're about to get banned from Facebook gaming.
Here's to the best years of my life in the arms of another man's wife, my mother.
So wholesome. So wholesome. It's not what I thought was going to come out of your mouth. So, I'll do a cheers. Here's to the people who have seen me at my best, seen me at my worst, and can't tell the difference. This is water, so I'm not even going to front like that. But to me, it would be, what are the upgrades? Is it 4K? Is it frame rate? Or is it like, oh, now you can do 1080p handheld? Not worth it for me. But if the upgrades are sufficient in docked mode, it would be worth it for me, so long as it's not in the 4th quarter. If it's within the last year that the Switch is going to be in its life cycle before they launch a next-gen system, then it can make French fries, and I'm not going to get it, even though I really love French fries. It's going to have to have a long enough runway before the next gen comes out, and it's going to have hardware specs that cater to docked mode specifically. But if they announce tomorrow we have a special Super Smash Bros. Edition that fixes the dog do netcode of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I'm pre-ordering it.
Okay.
Or if I am genuinely curious about a Splatoon bundle, because I think they will. And
Splatoon may not be Splatoon. The IP that they are going to use for that. Zelda would.
Yes. It might be both. There's a Splatoon and a Zelda bundle now with the original.
True.
They were spaced farther apart, but they're out there. So, anyway, that is our episode. Thank you, everybody, for coming through.
Anyone who is listening to this episode after the fact, I do apologize.
Oh, I don't. A special thank you to King George for adding many, many spices upon this episode.
Oh, God.
Wait a second. Oh, one last drink for George. George, you need to make sure you come through on our Friday night streams, my friend. Friday night is the night. Because Friday night, me and Corporal both stream, and we usually are both having a beverage, so you could definitely get 2 for 1. You'll get more bang for your stars.
The chat has stayed around so far just to see this.
Yes. Oh my god, you really are doing damage on that thing. So, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you. This has been episode 38 of the Nintendads Podcast. I am going to be back in about 5 to 10 minutes with the normal Tuesday night stream. It'll probably be a little shorter. Let me know in the chat if there's a specific game you guys want me to play. I was just going to play Guilty Gear because that's been like my go-to. But if you want to see me play some Smash, some Splatoon, even. I would do that for you guys. Monster Hunter, let me know. And I'll play it. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to do Guilty Gear. But, yeah, thanks for coming through. We hope this was informative and that we all learned something from this episode. I know Corporal did.
To water down my rum.
Corporal's like, I'm never bringing hard alcohol on the show again. It's always going to be like a 2%, like, baby's first seltzer. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.